test the room change stuff.
Hey guys, the Toolbox Buzz crew recently looked at 12 of the major brands of multi-tools, and we carefully planned a range of uniquely crafted tests and jigs to determine which one was, in our opinion, the best cordless oscillating multi-tool. An oscillating multi-tool is a saw, a scraper, a sander, and even a grinder. The tool by name infers that it's an all-in-one tool. A variety of attachments for these tools provide problem-solving cutting and versatility, especially among different materials. For this multi-tool evaluation, we looked at several categories and we developed scores for them. We looked at precision and accuracy because that's important on this tool. We looked at performance, speed and power, features, ergonomics, price, and we even named best value. Each of the categories are ranked individually and we use them to determine, at the end, the best cordless multi-tool based on that score. Now, as far as specifications, and if you're one of those folks that needs all the nitty-gritty details and specifications and all that stuff, model numbers, then you need to go visit the toolboxbuzz.com website and read the article. The article always has way more information and detail. While you're at it, please like this channel and subscribe. We can use your support. Appreciate it. All right, throughout our testing, all the multi-tools were equipped and outfitted with task-specific, fresh, brand new Imperial multi-tool blades to maintain consistency. Now, Imperial blades are a crew favorite and have been our go-to for years on our job sites. The Imperial blade interfaces included Starlock, OIS, and open back compatible blade mounts. Now, first category we looked at was accuracy. For accuracy test, we asked one of our experienced users to use every single tool freehand, cutting siding, clapboard siding, 1x6, corner boards, and base trim. And we used a jig to do a splice cut as well to assess and rank the tools on performance. Now, while this is a subjective test, there was some criteria that the tester focused on. We looked at accuracy and ease of controlling the tool and how clean a cut did the OMT produce. Vibration was a factor, a subjective assessment, albeit, but it was how the tool vibrated and while you were using it, and did it negatively impact the accuracy and cleanliness of the cutting. Ergonomics, again, related to control and accuracy, an assessment on how comfortable the tool was to hold and use during performing these tasks. For example, a good grip can make or break a tool, right? When poorly placed levers and knobs, slippery handholds, things like that, all of that can negatively impact control and accuracy. And then we looked at power. A tool with adequate or better power allows for greater control because you don't have to put the pressure on the tool. The tool does the work. So as far as the accuracy winner in this category, there was a three-way tie between the multi-tools, the Fein 700, the Fein 500, and the Festool Victoro. Almost identical results in accuracy. The tools have a very similar overall design and perform extremely well and similar. FLEX, Makita, and Milwaukee also tied for second. FLEX has a really good grip, good power, vibration dampening control, decoupling, and the tool has excellent accuracy. Makita, very effective decoupling, great grip, good control, excellent cutting. The Milwaukee has a decoupling system. It's got a decent grip. The power of this tool made it cut through the corner board trim like a hot knife through butter. In this case, a fast cut made for a cleaner, more accurate cut. The Metabo HPT was a surprising standout in this category. Now, while it doesn't have decoupling, its oscillation was very smooth and the tool was easy to control, and as far as accuracy, it provided a surprisingly smooth cut. We then looked at performance testing, and performance testing was a power speed test cutting metal and wood. An obvious question when comparing different multi-tools is, which one can cut the fastest? This test equates to power for us, and power equates to cutting thicker or harder to cut materials. So that's important to know. Recognizing that a multi-tool user, or a multi-tool actually requires the user to make dozens, if not hundreds of minuscule movements and adjustments, we decided to just eliminate that human variable. So to test the power of the multi-tools, we built a jig to hold the saws to complete two different tests. Test number one was to pull the saw into 3/4 plywood multiple times for average time. Test number two was to cut 5 16-penny framing nails. Again, we would do multiple tests, average time. In the jig, the tools were fixed with consistent blades, they were leveled, strapped to the fixture, and the entire thing were clamped down. The jig removes as much human variation as possible and just allowed us for a much fairer test that we could. Now, we used a rope and pulley system on the jig to transfer a 5.5 pound horizontal force, again on aluminum tracks with ball bearing wheels, so everything was smooth. The track ensured that the saw was kept parallel and moved in a consistent parallel fashion each and every cut. Now, all the saws had variable speed motors. They were set to their highest setting, and an automatic timer with contact switches were used to start and stop a timer for each test. Again, removing the human error element of a handheld stopwatch or push button. All of the tools for this test were powered either by 18 to 24 volt batteries ranging from 3 to 5 amp hour capacity. During the course of our testing with this fixture, no negative issues happened. Nothing negative. In the previous head-to-head test, we've normalized the field, right? So we used to use an amp hour, watt hour, and look at voltage of the platform to basically evaluate a watt hour for each tool tested. This is particularly critical when performing endurance testing or runtime tests, when you're testing the amount of work that the tool can perform on a single battery charge. In this test, we were testing for speed and power, not capacity. Thus, the watt hour considerations you may have seen us use in the past were not used on this test. All right, so as far as performance testing in wood, the winner of that was Milwaukee. Now, in this test, we used the jig to test the tool's cutting speed. It was cutting 3/4 plywood. 3 runs were performed for each set of tests, and their time was averaged. Milwaukee came in first place with an average cut time of 4.18 seconds per cut. Milwaukee claims to have the fastest cutting multi-saw in the market, and this tool certainly delivered on its promise. The second and third place finishers were Ryobi with 6.1 average cut time and Dewalt with 6.1 cut time. Both of these tools cut through the material exceptionally well, really well. So top 3 were really impressive. The winner of the metal cutting was also Milwaukee. To test the tools, again, in metal, a series of 5 16 penny nails were used, and we put them in a straight line, and the nails were located close together to minimize that kind of slamming of the tool after it went through each nail. We don't want to damage the teeth. The timer was started just before the nail was contacted and immediately after the nail was cut. It's always nice to see consistency in performance tests, and these top 3 tools managed to do just that. The fastest cutting tool again was the Milwaukee, 17.06 seconds, followed by the Ryobi, 26.61 seconds, and the Dewalt, third place at 28.68 seconds. 3 very fast cutting tools. Perhaps the biggest surprise of the bunch was the Ryobi, dethroning all but one tool in the performance rankings. As it's the lowest cost option in the group, the Ryobi boasts some serious cutting prowess. Okay, let's move on to features. And the winner of features was the FLEX. Now, it's never easy to compare tool features from different brands of each other, right? The entire team used all of these tools in a variety of cutting configurations and tests to rate 4 separate features on these saws, from 1 to 5, 1 being the best. And we looked at the blade change, because that's super important, LED light, decoupling, and variable speed dialing controlling. The number 1 slot for features went to the newcomer, and that was the FLEX Multitool. It came in with 8 points. Now, FLEX has had the best wraparound LED light coverage, excellent vibration decoupling, and scored second in the blade change and third in variable speed adjustment. A close second place to the FLEX went to Milwaukee with 9 points. The Milwaukee has low cutting vibration, excellent LED, probably second LED, and variable speed and auto setting capabilities. Third place was a 3-way tie, 10 points, and it went to the Fein and both Fein tools and the Festool. These tools cut extremely smooth, low vibration, and along with the Bosch, supported the best style blade clamps and blade clamp changing system. The Starlock is just great. Standout features. Now, while not all the multi-tools had standout features, we broke down a few that do affect performance and safety. We looked at blade change. All of the multi-tools can use the basic star lock, and several can even use open back blades. The exception is the Dewalt, and that's the only multi-tool that has to use an open back blade because it's got that spring lever system. The best blade change clamp was the Bosch, Festool, and Fein. The multi-tools, these multi-tools I should say, require the user to just simply push and click the blade in place into the accessory blade holder. It's fast, easy, and the team felt it was far superior to all of the other methods we tested. One thing we noted during testing was that the Festool power switch can easily be actuated to the on position when changing the blade, when you're doing the lever. The user needs to be careful when reaching for the blade change lever so that the thumb doesn't easily hit that power switch. It just easily turns on. The team rated the Dewalt's blade clamp system second best because it was quick, it was effective. That spring tension on the clamp can be difficult for some users to actuate. Overall though, the team felt that the Dewalt clamp is not a bad design. It's fast. The FLEX Multitool had a similar star lock mechanism to the Fein and Festool, but the locking mechanism requires the user to use a locking lever. The lever spring on this is extremely aggressive, and when you return it to neutral position, it just slaps back fast, and it's likely to bruise the user's knuckles until you get used to it. Rigid and Ryobi use a lever lock and locking clamp that resembles kind of like a sliding toggle. This locking toggle is permanently attached and will not fall off the tool, which is nice. But when you're in a tight spot and you want to rotate the blade or maneuver it and adjust the angle, ideally you'd want to rotate the blade without having to manipulate that locking clamp, and you can't do that. So this may be an intentional design decision, but one that the team felt was a kind of a pain point in the field. Having more throws on the locking clamp probably could just resolve this issue. All right, Metabo, HPT, Milwaukee, and Makita all use a pin and lever system. Metabo multi-tool design is set up that the pin can fall out during storage, even when the lever is closed. So that requires you to keep either a blade in the tool or lock the pin, to lock it in place. One nice feature is that you can adjust the blade without removing the pin, something the team felt was important in the field and in use. The Metabo HPT has a 3-step blade change process. It has a lever, a pin, and a locking twist collar. It is not easy to use, and the team felt it was the worst blade clamp setup out of the bunch. All right, let's move on to LED light. The best LED light was the FLEX. Its ability to completely illuminate at 90 degrees, so it's a 180 light. Milwaukee was a close second because it has 3 kind of wider LED array, which provides some peripheral side lighting. The Bosch, Metabo, HPT, and rigid multi-tool lights don't stay on after the power switch is turned off. And the Feins and the Festool do not have LED lights, something that we just felt was so simple to add. It's cheap. They should just do it. Decoupling, Fein, Festool, FLEX, Makita, and Milwaukee have decoupling setups on the working end of the tool, which obviously contributed to their low vibration. Variable speed control. Metabo, HPT, and Milwaukee have auto settings on their variable speed dials, and that allows you to set the upper limit of the motor speed, but you can start the cut at a lower RPM until you get into that cut. Now, the team favored that auto setting in the field, and it just allows you to slowly start your cut and then power it up once your kerf is established. The Dewalt is the only multi-tool that offers variable speed trigger to allow you to kind of set the variable and control that speed according to how you pull the trigger, and where you set a 3-step mechanical setting on a switch. The FLEX was unique, and it had a 5-step digital push button variable speed setting. It was super easy to use and does not lend itself really to accidental changes in the setting. Let's move on to ergonomics. Ergonomics is the science of designing and producing tools that improve efficiency and maybe reduce fatigue, discomfort, or injury, right? So the best ergonomically designed tool was the Fein 700. Our all-pro tool team evaluated the tools and simulated real-world tests and setups. We cut materials from drywall, clapboard, plywood, pine trim, poplar, baseboards, freehand, and we use a splice jig. We used the tools freehand to cut 16 penny nails, drywall screws, all kinds of stuff. So in layman's terms, ergonomics is the interface between the user and the tool. So how does it feel when using it? So for this ergonomic section, that's what we did. We used the tools and we ranked the following factors 1 through 5, 1 being the best. We looked at the tool's grip, vibration, and balance. Kept it simple. Regardless of how fast a multi-tool cuts, the less vibration it produces, the better. Some multi-tools employ some sort of decoupling system to reduce vibration. The Fein 700 scored tops in balance and came in second points, 2 points for vibration and balance. Second place came in at a tie with the Fein 500 and the Festool, both scoring second place in all 3 categories. Third place went to Milwaukee and was noted as extremely well balanced. Okay, we moved on to decibels. The winner of that was the Fein 500. Now, OSHA allows 8 hours of exposure at 90 decibels. For exposures 95 and greater, that exposure drops significantly, right? So clearly, all the tools need protection, hearing protection. We used a fixed decibel meter to measure these multi-tools in the following workshop tests that we did, and we ranked them on that average score. We looked at no load, metal cutting, and wood cutting, averaged. The quietest saw was the Fein 500, averaging 106.5 decibels, followed by Metabo at 106.7 and FLEX at 106.8. Moving on, we looked at price. Now, we chose the bare tool to evaluate price because a multi-tool is typically a second tool to your tool arsenal and one that's typically purchased to complement an already established battery platform, typically, if you're a pro contractor. The only tool that is not available as a bare tool was the FLEX Multitool. The most affordable tool in the bunch was the Ryobi, but the real surprise was how many higher end tools are in the $150 range. We were really impressed with that. The best priced cordless multi-tool was the Ryobi at $49. The highest price saw in the testing, there's no surprise, it goes to the Festool at a bare tool price of $375. Now let's talk about who has the best multi-tool in all of the testing we looked at. The winner of that went to Milwaukee. The competition for best cordless multi-tool went to the Milwaukee, the M18 FUEL Multitool with 19 points. Milwaukee crushed its competition in the controlled shop testing of wood and metal cutting. It scored well in accuracy and several feature sections, coming in place in second place and both third place in ergonomics. Second place multi-tool went to FLEX, 24 points, which really surprised the team. The FLEX is a newcomer. It's a feature-rich tool, and it just came in first in that section, just dominated it. It scored, let me see, second in accuracy, third in decibels. FLEX is solidly secured in its position as the second place tool in this testing. It was also fourth fastest cutting tool in metal. Third place went to the Festool with 26 points. Festool came in first in accuracy, second in ergonomics, and third in feature rankings. Festool has the best blade change clamp of the top 3 competitors. It's a top tier, easy to use, intuitive saw. I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about who has the best value tool. And we think it's the FLEX. As a brand new brand, FLEX is unknown to this team, and it surprised and impressed all of us. The FLEX is the only tool in the field, however, that's sold as a kit. So while this can be frustrating to those looking for just a bare tool, as a new tool brand, most people are looking to buy into the platform and will probably need or require the batteries and charger. The kit and battery retails around $199. The battery and charger, if purchased individually, cost $160 alone, pricing that bare tool price, if you play with these numbers, at $40 or $50. So couple that with a lifetime warranty and you have an outstanding value for new users. It's also hard not to be best value tool when you take first place and your tool costs $109. And so the second best value tool in this valuation was the Milwaukee, $109, a bare tool, and it was top tier. Solid performer and offered good price, and it just makes this saw a really good value multi-tool. Look guys, to conclude, the most comprehensive data on the market is these head-to-heads. We feel we do a really thorough job. We put a lot of work into it. Our all-pro contractor team dedicates significant amount of time and effort and into these head-to-head comparisons in order to provide you with the most thorough data as possible. Now, because we're not a professional testing company, and have limited time, money, and resources to access these tools and to work with them, these tools and evaluations are tough to do a time-consuming, long-term longevity scope. We can't undertake that long-term, testing that you guys are always asking for. And we can't possibly test every single application that you might use a multi-tool for. So we got lots of questions regarding how we come up with our final rankings. Now, as previously noted, and when we compare our tools, we do it in a variety of ways. We spell it all out for you. The good news is we share all the data publicly with you and make it available. And you can rate these tools any way you want based on our testing. You can test it yourself too. If you don't like how we rank something, no problem. Simply just take it out of the matrix and re-rank it according to the weight you want to give it. When evaluating cordless multi-tools, we hope that we met the expectation of what you would want to see for this head-to-head, and that this comparison was beneficial. Guys, if you have a moment, please check out our other head-to-head tests. We've done a bunch. We've got a bunch more planned. I'm Rob Robillard. Please, if you liked this video, please give us a thumbs up, comment. We love commenting back and engaging with you folks. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell. When you hit the notification bell, that lets you know when our videos are published. It also helps support our channel, and we need your support. Take care, y'all.